Quality in food packaging means good manufacture practice. So all your actions, the whole company, from R&D, designing the product, up to manufacture and delivering the product, must convene to the same purpose, which is this safety, regulatory compliance, and of course, product performance. That's good manufacture practice. The food contact paper packaging must be safe and must have a nice performance, so must keep all the organoleptic properties of the food so that the food is still good when consumers open the package and want to eat it, right?
Based on the product properties, which have to be achieved to meet the requirements for the food packaging material, we are defining and designing the test protocol, which is going to be applied in our test laboratory. For food packaging applications, there are different types of standard tests. But we are not stopping there. We are continuously developing new test protocols in order to characterize the required properties. Our laboratory tests are going to mimic the real life in the production process of our customers. For example, packaging materials for fish and chips do require a good oil and grease resistance.
We on the application side, from Omya Paper and Board Laboratories, evaluate the quality of applied Omya solutions on the product based on the requirements of the customer. For example, the performance of oil and grease resistance on the surface of the customer's substrate. The kit test is a drop test. They always need to have a product quality assurance which is really fast after production. And the kit test is really made for that, so in 15 seconds you will see a result of the different droplets, how they fall through the barrier.
We may design, for example, a tray for your fish and chips, and we have the equipment in the lab to test resistance to fat, to water, and we can measure the permeabilities to water vapor, oxygen, because these are also factors that affect the properties, the texture, even the taste of the food.
We think that the added value is for an oil and grease barrier to bring the surface really in contact with oil and grease and see what happens over time. In the fat resistance test, we apply directly fat to the surface and have a look how it behaves over time. So not every barrier needs the same requirements. For example, fast food needs to last 20 minutes maybe, but in a supermarket you have to have fulfilled maybe even days as a fat resistance and so on.
When it comes to this barrier coating formulation, these are complex products. When you have chemistry is a matter of measuring things and being sure that what is served to the customer is safe. Basically, the regulation in this area works with positive lists. So what we do use in the food contact packaging product must be listed in the relevant legislation. We need to be compliant with legislation in many different countries, so we monitor that, because a product which is compliant today might not be compliant tomorrow.
In Central Analytic, we are helping the regulatory team testing the ingredients and the composition of the materials and to see, okay, this is really comply with the regulation asked for. ICP-MS, standing for Inductively Coupled Plasma Mass Spectrometer, is an instrument which can measure the traces in a matrix, and we can exactly see which are the elements inside, which heavy metals are inside, and how much is this. At the end, we have to prove, as we're using these methods and this instrumentation, according to the norms that we are using, we have to prove that these elements are below a specific limit.
Besides the performance properties on the one hand and the regulatory requirements on the other hand, the product design is defined. And this is going to give us the information and performance properties and regulatory requirements, determining the recipe we have to apply in our products.